Hey, I'm Tony K. Welcome to Transformation School. Today's lesson is Age of Extinction Deluxe Class Lockdown. If you want to see transformation from vehicle mode to robot mode, skip to 5 minutes and 34 seconds in the video. Let's get started. Here we have lockdown in robot mode. He comes with a gun and a missile. To load the missile, pull the gun apart just a little bit and push the missile in. So the ball of the missile locks in between these two tabs. To fire the missile, you can put 2 fingers on these 2 steps and put your thumb somewhere on the back side of the gun and then squeeze together. Cool. Now, this gun has a handle to peg into his hand, but much more interestingly, it can fit onto his head to give the appearance of his weapon in the movie. We have a tab underneath the gun that will peg into a hole in the top of his head, and then a longer tab that will help support the gun on his back. So here we have the hole. And we slot this windshield section behind this left tab. Now, that setup does limit the range of motion for his head cannon, but otherwise it's neat. It represents what we saw in the movie. Now, setting that aside, we will continue with our transformation to vehicle mode. I'm going to turn him sideways here. We've got a peg and a slot, so we're going to pull his waist away from his backpack. On this hinge right here, we're going to pivot, pulling his head away from the windshield. We're going to extend this section, spin the body around above the chest, below the head. And continue folding in that direction. We're going to open up his backpack, pivoting on this hinge and this hinge up here. Bring the front of the car up a little further. We will fold his hips and waist back. Let's work on his legs. At the knee, we will turn the foot to the outside of the vehicle and fold the foot at the ankle. Turn the other knee, fold the other foot. We've got a peg and a slot to peg together. Let's do the same for the other side. Fold on this hinge and the one hidden under the shoulder, ball joint under the shoulder. Straighten the door, and then peg in. And we push the back section of the car together. And here's lockdown in vehicle mode. He doesn't have any hidden weapon storage. His weapon is just so large. But there's 2 slots below the rear windshield and 2 pegs on the bottom in the middle of the weapon. So at the very least, the weapon and the vehicle can stay together, hopefully avoid getting lost. Let's transform him back into robot mode. Let's start with the back section of the car. We've got 2 pivot points. And next, we'll unpeg the door, which is his arm and his hand. And then we'll pull down on the feet. We've got a tab underneath this front fender piece. It's connected to the windshield and the hood of the car. So we need to pull this fender out and tuck it behind that tab. We can rotate this section down a little more and out. And pull his arms out a little bit and make some room for this section to line up, to peg into the windshield. Let's put his backpack together. We've got a hinge on each end of the windshield. Pull up on the windshield and rotate and click it flat. We need to rotate his body right here past his head. And on this hinge, fold it down. You can, let's open that back up. We've got a pivot point behind the headlights to angle the side pieces in a bit. And then we've got a tab and a slot to peg his waist together. We pull apart his legs, turn it at the knees, turn the feet out, and if we turn his elbows, we can see his hands. I'm going to pull his shoulder pads down. Let's bring lockdown in for a moment so that we can see his face. I think that is the best part of this figure. Very detailed face. Rest of the body, not so good. Not bad, but not so good. Very cool face. Hate to cover it up with this weapon, so I'm going to display it in his hand. And we have lockdown back in robot mode. That's it for today. Class dismissed.